Hello, Flosstube. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Bec.
And this is Dee Dee's Flosstube, number 5. Oh my goodness, 5 weeks already we've been doing this. That's amazing. Time is just flying and we're having a ball doing it.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying this journey.
Cool. So am I.
I'm glad you just dragged me along to these things.
That's awesome. Get on the back, let's go. Alrighty.
That's the way I learn.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be just sitting there not doing it, thinking about it.
Thinking about it, yeah. I make you do stuff.
You do.
Because I'm mean like that.
Yeah, you are.
Don't
That's what...
Anyway. Anyway.
Yeah, moving on.
Moving on. I'm not that mean. Really,
No.
I'm not. No, I do encourage her to learn.
Yeah.
I like everybody to learn and have a go.
And you push me to my boundaries. Like, you know my limits.
I don't make her cry often.
No. Never.
No, I don't make her cry
No,
ever.
she
But no. Maybe just a little bit. No, I don't make her cry. So basically, I just like to push Bec along. Alrighty, so basically we're here to talk about our stitching this week and what we got up to and what we didn't get up to and all the rest of it. So you won't hear the truck going through this week, the garbage truck, because we're doing it a day earlier so we don't have to put up with him this week.
Yeah.
Mainly because I am going on a week-long holiday. I'm working with another YouTube channel called King of Toe Crew, which is my husband. And we are doing the craziest thing ever and jumping in a car with the whole family, so 3 kids in tow, and driving 6,000 kilometres in 6 to 7 days.
6 to 7 days.
Yeah, so 7 days. I'm pushing for 7 because like 6 is just insane. But
I know.
yeah, so that's what I have planned for this coming week. And basically we have been in preparation mode for that. We've got another live parts finder with him tonight. That'll be the last thing that we're doing at home with the channels. So yeah, so basically we have been in mad panic mode to get everything recorded, uploaded and stitched and out the door and everything else. And my week has been absolutely insane. I have made 3 handbags. I have quilted. I have I didn't get a binding on one quilt, so Bec's going to do that while I'm away. We have recorded Finish It Friday. We've recorded this and we have done tutorials for next week. Well, I've done a block of the month. I've done a post to go up on Monday. I have been busy. My to-do list was extremely long and I am still ticking them off. And basically I've got one more to tick off now, which was the Finish It Friday, because that is done. And this one as well, because that's almost done. And I almost got everything done. I did not get these done. I will not get those done. So it was a big to-do list. I got most of it done. But I'm not the only person that got stuff done this week. Bec also had stuff done. A lot of sleeping. She got sick.
Yeah.
Very sick. Yeah. So after our coffee tea dyeing video that we filmed last week, Bec, you would have noticed, was a little bit flat. That afternoon she went down big time. So this stitcher went down.
And it shocked me.
Yeah, it was very quick. But as I said, that's what happens when you sleep with a little one that's sick and breathing all over you. Because he doesn't cough away either. He's a bit like Mia.
Yeah.
Just hacks all over you.
Yeah, children, they do that, don't they?
It was pretty gross. But anyway, so Bec rested up for the weekend and for the better part of this week. And so now she's back.
I'm back.
Bright-eyed and bush-tailed.
I am. I'm feeling heaps better.
Yeah.
Oh.
She looked like death warmed up, I'm telling you that, on Friday afternoon when I dropped off her stuff to her and her children, because I got the kids picked up in the morning and they got walked to school, and then my eldest daughter picked them up on the way home from school, delivered them here, I fed them and then took them home about 5:30, and then that way they were able to just cruise in and Bec could stay sleeping. And so she looked like death warmed up. Not a pretty picture at all. So so she's back at work today, which is great. So yeah. So what else did you get up to apart from sleeping? You had to clean your house and stuff.
Yeah, I had a house inspection.
Yeah,
so.
that was yesterday.
Yeah, medication kicked in, and so I went from resting to get all this done.
Woman with a mission.
Oh, gosh. And then after the house inspection yesterday, I just crashed again.
Yeah.
I just went down.
Cool.
I needed it.
But the house got clean, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
And you're good
Caught
to
up
go.
on
And
my days down.
that's it. And we've got a bit of a disco happening behind us at the moment with our like, subscribe, and share box.
Yeah.
Which also has the number 5 on it for our video. That's having a little bit of a moment behind us. It does that sometimes.
It does.
It's a little bit strange, and I just keep catching glimpses of it on my computer, the reflection of it. And yeah, so basically, all right. So we're here to talk about stitching and not flashing lights and all the rest of it.
Yep. Okay, so I did manage to get some stitching done.
You did?
I did. And I was so enjoying it. After, you know, even when I was laying in bed, I'm like, I can't even fathom, like, just stitching.
Yeah.
But, so I got some more of my Quilter's Cottage. Thank you.
So working on the alphabet for the Quilter's Cottage. Whoop. So,
slowly getting there.
Yep, and you're working, that's the pattern that you're doing, the chart that you're doing. It's by Laurie Holt through the Fat Quarter Shop. And you're working on, what's the fabric again?
It's vintage cloth.
Okay, and count?
And it's 10 count.
Cool. And are you working the called for colours?
I'm working the called for colours.
Okay, cool.
That's what I do.
Awesome. So you got some more of that in. So you got the, what did you get in this week? RS and...
The R and the S. Yeah.
R and the S in the beginning of the T.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Well, you know, bit by bit.
Cool. Sweet.
So yeah, had a little
and
session on that.
And you're liking...
I am liking it, yeah.
Yep.
I do.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm doing it, like, tight enough.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think if I pull it tighter, it's going to pull all those...
little holes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might just turn that off for the people that might have epilepsy. That might cause
We can
some
still
issues.
see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was happy with that.
Yeah.
And I did the extra stitch on the G.
Yeah, because the G was sitting really funny on that. It just looked. It looked like it was missing a stitch.
Yeah.
So sorry, Laurie. We actually just added. We're both adding that extra stitch in because following the chart, because that extra stitch.
Like on the chart, it looks all
round.
right.
Yeah, it looks rounded off, but when it's stitched out, not having that extra stitch, I don't know if I can get it to mark that.
You'll see it in the previous videos.
Yeah, if you go and have a look at the previous videos where Bec's shown that, it really looks like it's just jagged.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was missing something. And then when you look at the chart, it was right.
Yeah. It looks good on the chart.
But
in the picture.
yeah, but on the thing it didn't. And we both of us kept looking at that G going, there's something.
It just looks funny.
It doesn't look right.
So I'm happy with it now. I'm glad you made that suggestion. Because
it looks a lot better.
It looks better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So I got some of that done.
Yep. And what else? You worked on 2 things. Wow.
Yes. I haven't worked on my mushroom.
Oh, this is a new start too.
Oh, yeah. This is a new start.
This is a new start. Go back.
Okay. I started on our stitch along.
And I've got...
which is for spring. Let me fold this up.
Sorry, I had a chart.
She was looking at it.
So that's the chart that we're working. It's by Country Cottage Needleworks, and it is spring.
So I started and did this first. It's for the it's the pole.
It's the pole that holds the So that's all you've got done on that, which is cool. So that's the pole just there that she's done. Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I was happy. Like sat there last night, and that's when I started. This one was last night.
Okay, cool.
After the kids were in bed, and I could have just sat there for ages. I was really enjoying it. So, and guess what, Nicole?
What?
I did it in hand. I didn't do it in hoop.
Oh, yeah, it's not in a hoop. I just realised it's not in a hoop. It's not as hard as you thought, is it?
No, and it wasn't until I was like, part way down. And I went,
Cool.
oh, I'm doing this in hand. Oh, Nicole's going to be so proud of me.
I am, because she was so scared to try it.
Yeah.
And I kept saying it's just so easy. Like, it's so much easier. You can just pick it up. You can take it in the car. You can have it, like I made her that little pouch last week.
Yeah, I love this.
For the Finish It Friday. So I made her...
This is my part of my haul.
Yeah, it is. So I made that for Bec last week. So she can just grab that now, chuck it in the car, and she doesn't have to worry about a hoop or anything like that.
It fits in. It's smaller, and it just and this will fit in my handbag.
Yeah, and that's perfect. I am so happy about that. You have no idea, because I know that Bec doesn't like to. Bec likes everything in a box. This is the best way to describe Bec. Bec likes everything in the box. So
I have to follow.
She won't deviate. She won't break the rules. She won't deviate. She won't change the colours. She'll do exactly what is told to her on a pattern. Whereas I am the complete opposite. I'm like, nah, let's do this.
And I'm just like, what?
And she freaks out. So I'm so glad that subconsciously she must have been thinking about it or not thinking about it, and just picked it up and started doing it, which means that I'm starting to rub off on Bec. But it's good, because it gives you a whole different perspective of how to do things.
Yep.
It opens up a whole world of learning. Like, when I first started doing embroidery, I thought that you had to do it in the hoop as well. Mm-hmm. And then I met a lady that went, no, you can just do it in your hand. You don't need to do it in a hoop.
Yep.
And then last week I was talking about our stitch along that we're going to be, our block and stitch along that we're doing on through the Facebook group and on Instagram next year. It's a quilt that we're doing, but it's got hand embroidery in it. And everybody was going, I thought you had to do it in the hoop. I'm like, well, no.
No.
I've done embroidery backstitch. Like, if it's got extreme fancy stitches in it and stuff like that, yeah, I'll put it in a hoop, because you need that tension there to get the stitch to sit right. So, but in my hand, for hand embroidery, I can actually do backstitch, stem stitch, and lazy daisies. And pretty much that pattern only calls for that.
Okay.
It's majority of it is backstitch. There's not a lot of fancy stitches in there. Stem stitch can get a little bit tricky, but once you get your rhythm going, it's okay. And it's the same with cross stitch. Once you get that rhythm going, it's good to go. And I prefer to work vertically, and you'll probably find that if you started going across this way but worked vertically with the grass, you'll get more comfortable with it as well. But I'm so excited.
She's going to be so proud of me.
I'm so excited about that. That's awesome.
And I didn't want to say anything till we got here.
I was going to mention, like, when you pulled it out of the bag and said, I started on that, I went to ask, but something sidetracked me. So
and then I quickly put it.
Yeah, and you put it away again. So that was pretty cool, because I like to see what she's done before we get on camera and start talking about it as well.
And I had a few questions, because I used the online calculator for the first time, and because I was at home on my own, I was a bit daunted.
Yeah.
And
because a lot of people don't realise Bec actually doesn't sew at home, because she's too afraid that she's going to bugger it up, for lack of better words. But I am of the opinion,
once I get started,
just do it. Like, if you bugger it up, you can unpick it.
Yeah, that's what I thought also last night.
Yeah,
I'll just do the pole, and then if I have to unpick it,
you can unpick it. That's exactly right. Like, nothing is that bad that it can't be unpicked. And if it is that bad, well, you know what? Just start again. That's it.
Yeah.
Just start again. And that's sort of my, like, I won't let fabric beat me. So when I gave that piece to Bec, that was a big thing for me, to just hand it off, because I don't like to let fabric win. That's a little flaw on my part. But, sometimes you've just got to let it go. You do have to let it go, because it'll just do your head in. But I'm really glad that you're stepping outside the box and doing that. And
I did it without even realising.
I am rubbing off on her. I'm pretty happy about that.
I thought you would be.
Yeah, but in hand, I find working, and this is just my own personal experience, I'm really new to cross-stitching, as most of you know that, but I just find working in hand, I do it one or two ways, or sometimes I'll do it both ways. It depends on the project that I'm working on, and I find that going vertically, so I start at the top and work my way down and then go back up, and I might do it where I just do the half of the stitch all the way down. And I'll show you the difference on the back of mine, because I'm doing the same one where I've done both methods. And I'm finding that working, so I start from the left-hand side in the top corner. I don't start in the middle. I struggle with starting in the middle.
Yeah.
So that's why I was surprised that you had started that up in the top corner as well, because you always start in the middle.
Yeah.
So you've gone completely left field.
Yeah.
In this one, to doing everything that you don't normally do.
Yeah.
Which is great.
But I was also thinking, like, because of the design.
Yeah, because it's not
watching your photos go up.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's where I've sort of started all mine. I just start up in the top corner.
And I thought that poll, that was just somewhere simple to start.
That's exactly right. And I'm so glad that you did. That's awesome. I'm really happy with that. Well done, Bec. Well done. Well done. That's all I can say. And what do you guys think? You know, like, leave us a comment down below and tell us what you think. Like, yeah, do you think it's exciting that she's stepping out of the hoop, and do you stitch in hand or do you stitch in hoop? Like, yeah, because there's all different ways of doing it. So
and everyone has their own preference.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So
that's awesome. Yeah. And she's using a little needle minder as well.
My new needle minder.
Do you find it difficult to have that in while you were doing that? Did you find that a bit big?
No, I actually used it. Like, I folded my Ada up, and then I used it to clip it together so it didn't unfold.
Okay, cool.
So it was, had two uses.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah. And I was I was sitting on the lounge, and I had where I keep all my stuff in a big plastic container. It's only like this deep.
Yep.
So I just sat that and propped my knees up and...
Oh, okay, so you used the lid for it.
Yeah.
Like, used it as a table.
As a table, yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so...
You know what would work really well? You remember those, I don't even know if they're around anymore. Remember those trays that you used to get that had the cushions on the bottom, but they had the tray on the top and they had the cup holder?
Yeah.
That would probably work, because you could sit your scissors and stuff in the cup holder.
Oh, yeah. I've had... Like, I see them on... eBay and Ali.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because they've popped up on Facebook. You know how they have the
ads?
ads?
Oh, yeah, the ads and stuff like that.
And you can scroll along.
Yeah.
And I have seen them there just recently.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Now that you mention that.
And now that we've mentioned it, no doubt, Big Brother will hear us on the computer, because the computer's on, and we'll just see heaps of those ads. Yeah. Because that happened a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about something, and then both of our news feeds got flooded on Facebook and on Instagram with what we were talking about. I'm like, that's creepy. Who's stalking me?
They're listening.
We didn't type it. We just talked about it in the craft room. We weren't texting it to one another or anything like that. We weren't actually using our phones. Our phones were just in the room.
We were having a personal conversation.
Yeah, and then the stuff starts popping up, and it's like,
They were listening.
Creepy much. So did you work on anything else? I'm so proud of you for doing that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
No worries.
No, because I've been sick. So, because
that was a big effort.
Yeah.
That's awesome that you just still got some in, though.
Yeah.
Because
I went down, I was down for
the entire weekend, and Monday you were still down.
Because that was Thursday, we did the last Flosstube that night.
Yep. Yeah, because she wasn't here for Finish It Friday.
No.
I didn't let her come to work, no.
I didn't even get out of bed that morning,
No.
Go to the toilet, and that was it.
Yeah.
And,
So, well, there you go. That's awesome. So, I'm surprised you even got some in. To be honest, I didn't think you were going to get in.
It was in my mindset that I need to get some done. And I'm so glad that I did.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Cool.
So that was... Oh, and with the needle minder.
Yep.
It held in place because I've had this other hoop in the box. So it was magnetised to that and held it in place.
Cool. That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Excellent.
So that was good.
Alrighty.
That's all my...
all right. Well, I have done some progress as well. So I'm going to start with the last one that you just left off with. Yep. So I just recently got this book, which I've shown in another video, and I've started using it. So I've been listing down everything that I'm starting on, things that have kitted up, and what are going to be my next starts and stuff like that. So I thought, well, I better use it because I did buy it, and what's the point of having it if you're not going to use it? So I'm using it, and so I have worked on my spring one. We started that on Sunday was the 1st
of September.
So we started that on the 1st of September. So I've got my project bag and I have all my little bits and pieces in that. So that's like my pencil case that has my diary It has a friction pen in it, has a normal pen in it, and it has my little 2-inch ruler to start my projects in it.
That's the little ruler
So
we're talking about.
so I don't have to worry about using the calculator. The calculator's great, and I link that under every video. And basically, you put in how many stitches it is, and how many by height and width, and then what you're working on, whether you're working on 28 even weave or 14 count aider. You put it in, it gives you a prompt of whether you're doing it over 2 or over 1, because if you're working on aider, we know that's over 1 after my colossal mistake. And if you're working on linen or anything else, it's over 2. So that puts it all in there. And then if you want a border around it, and then for finishing as well. So I don't usually want a border around mine, so I've only done it for finishing.
Okay.
So you can put it as whether you want it for 1 inch for finishing, 2 inches, 3 inches, whatever you want. And then that'll tell you exactly how much fabric you're going to need for that project. So it's a really good calculator. It's underneath every video. I use it regularly to make sure I've got enough fabric, because I've only got like smaller pieces.
Yeah.
And I'm working, some of the coarse fabrics are like 30 count, 32, 40 count, whatever the case may be. And I'm working on 14 count or 16 count or 18 count aider. So I've now since learnt that if it's 28, if it calls for 28 count, then it's the equivalent is 14 count aider, 32 16 count, so forth and so on.
Yeah.
So I've since learned that, and that was thanks to a wonderful lady that is on just about every comment on Flosstube and also other videos on our channel, Sarah Shepherd. She sent us through a PDF and a document, and it had the different needles that you use, and it's like a toolkit basically for beginners. So it tells you the different aiders and a whole heap of other information, which would take me quite a while to get through, but it's really good. Sarah has since said that if you want a copy, I can give you can send a message to me at askme.dds and I can forward her contact information. It's only a couple of pages.
Yeah.
I don't actually have it in front of me at the moment. I've got it somewhere in one of my bags. As soon as I find it, I will show you what it looks like. It's just a Word document, but it's got some really good information in it for beginners. It's even good information. Oh, excuse me for touching my glasses. They wrecked them a couple of weeks ago and they're a little bit wide, so they're slipping down my nose as I'm talking. Sorry. So it's got some really good information in it, and I have actually used that information. So Sarah, you'll be happy to know I've actually used the information to get some different needles to come in. So I've ordered a whole heap of different needles, and I've ordered a whole heap of different fabric for a whole heap of different projects. And so I'm going to be set up to go. And when I say I've ordered some needles, I've ordered some needles. They come in bulk packs.
Oh my gosh.
Of 100. So I've ordered us some needles.
Okay, so we're getting some needles?
We're getting some needles in different sizes. So I'm going to get some little containers to put them in and label them and everything like that.
Good idea.
Yeah, so they only came in bulk pack. I got them from AliExpress.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of kits from them and their needles have been fine. So I just thought, well, I'll go back to that same shop where I've got the needles from in the kits. And I got them and they were relatively cheap. Like I couldn't get them any cheaper here in Australia, and I know that that's terrible, but I have been purchasing charts out the Yahoo, and you'll see anyway. So onto my whips. Again, I used that calculator to make sure that I had enough fabric and everything, because I'm using a different fabric than what was called for. So I am actually using a 14 count aider for mine. I am working on the Country Cottage Needleworks on the spring chart. Bec and I went halves in these charts, so that's why we're sharing it, and also the floss. And so basically, this is our stitch along that we're doing on Instagram, and the hashtag is Nicole and Bec Spring. And I got started because I'm not going to get much stitching in the next week or so, but this is what I've done so far. So it does, and I don't think the camera. We're getting it there.
Just pick it up.
So it is like a mottled, greeny, bluey spring color. I'm gonna have to try and get some decent photos, but it is coming up just beautiful on that. So I'm doing all 4 seasons over the course of the next year. On the 1st of December, we'll be starting summer, and it'll be Nicole and Bec summer, and so forth and so on. So each season we'll be doing one of these. We've got a few people that are joining us, but that's what I've got done this week. I've just been doing a little bit each morning, and I've just started on the house. So you can see there, that's a beautiful aqua colour. We're just using the called for colours in DMC. This is called, the fabric that I'm working on is called Dryscape. It's a 14 count, and I got that from Sew It All Australia, and it was 50 by 45.
Yes.
Yeah, and I can get 2 of the charts on this. So I'll have spring here, and I'll have summer here, and I'll have enough for finishing and everything, because that is the edge of the chart there. So that I've gone across with the grass, and the next pole just goes in here, which I'll probably get in today before I leave tomorrow. So yeah, but I'm finding that I'm stitching in hand with this one, and I'm working vertically. So I'm starting at the top, working down, and then working back up. And this is, I know that there's a lot of controversy over backing and how it should look and all the rest of it. I personally don't give a rat's what the back looks like, because no one's going to see it. I'm not entering my stuff into shows or anything like that. And if it does go in a show, it's going to be framed. So unless they're pulling my work apart to see the back, they're never going to see it. I don't use knots. I do not use knots to tie off or anything like that unless it's absolutely necessary. But I have found that working it vertically, so I do the half of the, and you can see the difference here where I've done both.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, if you can just hold it. So just here, I've done each individual X. So you can see it's got like the dash lines. Here, I have done half of the X down, and then done the X back, the rest of the X going back up, and it's got like a smooth finish, and the same as that. And you can see that where I've started doing it along here too, it gives it that smooth finish. And actually, like, you can't see any of the Aida cloth through that at all. I actually like the look of that, and it feels really good as well. But do I care? Not really. But that was just a happy accident that that's how that happened, you know, like it's ended up being a lot neater. I do, and I don't know if this is right or not, but I do weave, like I leave enough floss to weave back up through it. So my tails are all up in here, and I've got a couple of jump threads and stuff like that. It's inevitable. Like if I've got a little dot of pink here and a little dot of pink here, I'm going to jump to here. Like, it's not as if it's this long or anything like that. I don't know if that's right or not. I actually don't really care. But that's how my back is turning out on that, and I'm really happy that it looks a lot neater. And like you can see down here, I've got a couple little dots of pink down here, and then I've jumped up here, or vice versa, I've jumped down.
But when you've got something that small.
But if you look closely, I don't actually jump it straight across. I actually weave it through the cross stitch.
I just noticed that.
The reason I do that is because if I don't want it just flapping in the wind over there, it just hides it a little bit too. So if I was working on a finer fabric, you wouldn't actually see those jump stitches. And I don't go any more than in hand embroidery, and I'll show you why, because I've got an older finish here that I can show you in hand embroidery. And the reason why is I could see it. And that is the reason why you're usually told not to do big jump stitches, because you see the shadowing. And it's the same in quilting. If you don't pull all your threads off the back of your blocks, you can see them. Especially with the lighter fabrics. So that was that whip, and they're the things that I've learnt on that whip. So I've learnt a lot from this little stitch along and all the rest of it. And I'm so excited that we've actually got people that are joining us. So I'm going to give a nice shout out to Rebecca Janes. She's in the US. She's just got her kit and everything together. I think she started doing hers today. And also, I can't remember, I think it's Kerry. Yeah, I can't think of your last name, Kerry, but you know who you are. She's off to Spotlight she was off to Spotlight yesterday to get all her stuff, and she got her chart from Journey of a Stitcher, and she's here in Australia. And there's a couple of other people that are doing it as well, but they haven't said that they've got started yet or anything like that. And as soon as I start seeing them, there was a few that said they wanted to do it, but I don't know. I don't remember all their names.
We're so excited that They're doing it with us.
Yeah.
For so long.
It's for so
and
long.
we've only just started our journey.
I
on
know.
cross-stitch.
Yeah. So it's really exciting. It is really exciting. I started using. I said in last week's video that I don't like needle minders when I'm stitching in hand. And so basically, and I'd done a little tutorial on the coin pouches and stuff like that, which has got a thread hanging off it from last week. This is the one I made in the live tutorial. But I actually have been collecting some needle minders for the different ones that I'm doing. So I've got Piggy from the Fat Quarter Shop, and you can see it's on the outside. So basically what happens is when I'm stitching, I have these little, and you'll see on Instagram, I have these little pouches sitting there, and I just have the needle minder sitting there so I can still use it. And I don't lose the needle because I've dropped this like that many times. But now I don't drop it, so that's really good. And I can use it, and they just stay on it, and that goes into and because the magnets are so strong, like there you go. That's how strong they are. I'm actually holding Piggy and that's got my scissors in it, needles, and something else. Oh, there's something else in there. What's tapping around in there? Needles, scissors, little spare floss bag because I'm waiting on some more bobbins to come so I can wrap my floss around it. And that's holding the pouch as well. So that's how strong they are. They don't come off.
They're good.
Yeah, so that's that one. I haven't finished yet. So I'll put all these in later. That'll take them on for Sunday. Yep. Alrighty, so I have done, on the seasonal celebrations, I have done already about 8.5 hours on that. I'm not a fast stitcher by any means. All right, so on Monday, I actually have days that I do things. Where's my Sunday one? That was Mondays. So on Sunday, I did the spring one.
Organised.
The spring one, and I also worked on this one as well. So I worked on Harvest Chalkful by Hands On Design, and designed by Priscilla Blaine. So that's that one there. This is the one that I very first started, and I pretty much done it wrong because I did it over 2, but it turned out to be an absolute happy mistake. On Sunday, I started doing the jar because I was a little bit concerned that because of how big it was becoming, that I was a little bit concerned that I wasn't going to have enough fabric going down. So I went to the bottom of the jar, and there's only a couple of leaves that hang off the bottom of the jar. So I'm happy to say I do have enough space.
Yay.
So I managed to get a fair bit done on this one. So Bec's going to hold that behind there, and I'm going to hold this side, and we're going to come a little bit closer. So I managed to get all this part of the jar done. I spent, where is it? Because I'm actually jotting down my times as well. I spent 3 hours on that. So we've gone all the way down to here, and I did a little bit more of the jar in here as well. And yeah, and I'm happy with the progress. It's going to be big. My daughter and I were talking about it. We are actually got a buffet in the kitchen where I'm going to be putting this, and I can set the buffet up with like a fall sort of decorative area and stuff like that. So that's where that's going to be the centerpiece. I'm going to move a picture that I've got there now. That's going to be a centerpiece. I'm going to do a smaller version of this, the correct way to do it. So it will be a lot smaller, and that can sit up in the corner. And yeah, I can decorate all that. So I'm pretty happy with how that's coming along. I was a little bit concerned, as I said, that I wasn't going to have enough room, but there's going to be plenty of room. It is a lot bigger than it's supposed to be. I am only supposed to be using 1 thread on the jar, but because I have made this colossal mistake when I started, I am using 2. So I'm just going to run with 2 strands over 2 for the whole thing and just turn it into something a little bit bigger. So I'm sorry, I've redesigned that one too. But that was because I made a mistake. There was a miscommunication with the people that I bought it off. And yeah, and of course I have my little Notions pouch, and it's got my little Harvest one on there. So I'm, now I'm matchy. So I did 3 hours of that on Sunday. And then on Monday, I can put that back in there. Yes. I've got something else in there that I've got to pull out in a second. Then on Monday, I have started doing my Christmas stuff on Monday. So Merry Monday is my little thing.
That. Merry Monday.
And Merry Monday makes Monday a little bit more tolerable. So I worked on my Christmas one again, and I finally did find a decent picture for it, but I haven't had it. Next week I hopefully will have a decent picture of it for you, and I just can't even find the picture of it. But anyway, it is called Christmas Traditions, and I got it from Amy's shop off. It was a full kit, and so I don't know.
Want me to find it?
No, it's all right.
Okay.
So I'll just pull this up.
Yep.
So I ended up getting the stalk done. I've started to do the red part of it. Yeah, it just needs to be closer because I can't see it. And I've done a bit of the green as well. So I'm pretty happy with how it's coming along. So I'm pretty much just working this on Mondays at this point. If I've got a little bit of extra time through the week, I'll throw a couple of stitches in. But I only worked on that for Christmas Traditions. I'll flip that over. I didn't write down, so I must have only worked on about an hour on that. I'd say I did that just before I went to bed actually on Monday. Okay. So yeah, it would have been about an hour after I got back from dancing. I was sitting down there for half an hour and I was super busy getting bags and all that sort of stuff. So that's a little bit more progress in that. And I reckon next Monday I might get some done. I am taking my cross stitch with me, but whether I do it or not, that's a different story. Yeah. So yeah. So there's 3 pages to that PDF that I was talking about, and it's just all written out, and it's got all the information I need in it, and that's where it was sitting in with my Christmas one. So yeah, I worked on that, and I got a new little from Journey of a Stitcher that came in, so that's a little bit of a haul. So that's got its own little magnet holder as well, and again, it's got everything in it. It's super strong. I'm pretty happy about that. So I've got needle minders on everything now.
Awesome.
All right, I've got to get that back in. All right, and then I also on Monday, so that was late Monday, I worked on that. I actually done a new start.
A new start?
Yep, and where is it? I did a new start. Yeah, I've put it somewhere. Oh, here it is. So I did a new start. So I actually... I'm not using I started doing this one here. I'm not using the called for colours. I actually pulled the colours out of my Cosmo stash here, and I'm working on 14 count Ada, and I didn't get much in, but I got a start. That's all that matters. And I started the tree because I don't start so I started this tree here, and so yeah, so that is all I got done on that one. So I'm pretty happy with that. I wasn't too sure. I did have another green in there and I wasn't too sure about it, so I just pulled out that darker one, and I'm pretty happy with that darker one actually.
I like it.
Yeah,
it looks nice.
Yeah, so again, I'm working vertically. And you can see there where I was doing the individual crosses on the back, and then I started just doing the half crosses and going back over it. And you can see there on the front that my floss ran out. So that's why I stopped. So I did 3 or 4 strands of floss on that.
Yep.
And that was the start. So yeah, I was happy with that. Because this is for in my sewing room, and basically we're going to be putting new cupboards and stuff out here. It's getting a little bit of a makeover, so I want to actually have that finished sooner rather than later and framed up ready to hang up.
Yep.
So that was a start, and as I said, I just did 4 strands of floss on that. I don't even think I wrote down an hourly thing on that. Oh no, I did 1.5 hours, but that was not solid. In that 1.5 hours, I got up about 4 times to the 3-year-old. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I need help on the toilet. I've lost my undies was one. I'm like, you what? You've lost your undies? She hadn't lost her undies. She took her undies off to go to the toilet, and they'd fallen behind the side of the toilets. Oh my god.
She's a dag.
She's a dag. And then on Tuesday evening, I done a little bit more on the spring one. I did like a little bit each day. And then on Tuesday, I did another start.
Another start?
Another start.
Oh it's been... This woman amazes me.
It's basically, it was haunting me. So I am not using the called for colours. I am using some Weeks Dye Works, I'm using some Cosmo, and I'm using some Classic Colourworks. So I'm using Queen Bee Classic Colourworks. I am using Cosmo number 2212 in a blue. I am using Weeks Dye Works Pink Sand. These colours look good together. And I am using Graphite in Weeks Colourworks for the border. And this is what I'm doing. The Prairie Schooler, where the bees are. Okay, so I'm doing that. And I started doing the border. And this one I'm, again, stitching in hand. And I'm doing one cross at a time. So I am so excited. And I'm doing this on 16 count. So I'm super excited. That's what I got done. This one has been calling my name for quite some time. It was one of the first ones that I ordered because I just love it. And I just love that the geometric of that border. Like, I just find something about that geometric border just while doing it. It is so calming and
therapeutic.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would lack a better terms, yeah. And the only thing I haven't done is edge the which I'm going to do today. So, yeah, I really like how that's going out. I love the colour of it. As I said, I didn't use the Call for colours. I have just used what I've had on the hand, and I'm really liking, and that is very close to the DMC colour anyway. And that pink, like when you look at that pink, it's not really a pink.
It's not, no.
No, I wouldn't call it that. I wouldn't call that a pink, but on the back of this it says pink, dark pink. And I just really like, I'll get that up as close as I can. You can see that there. And I just think that that pink sand is just going to look divine in that flower.
Yeah.
That's what I'm basing my colour off on that. And the queen bee in the Classic Colourworks is just divine as well.
Yeah.
And that graphite, it is a subtle variegation in it. So nothing too striking. And I think that that's going to go well. And then that is the blue that I'm using, which is slightly more vibrant. But I'm happy with that. I think it suits those colours. When you put those colours together, you can just see that they're going together quite well. So you can see there, and I don't think I can get that blue, get that grey over there, and you can see that those colours are just going to go together lovely. And so that's why I've done that. So that was another start. I couldn't help myself. But what I am going to do, this is a 28 count even weave piece of fabric that I've got. I'm going to do the smaller pieces in that. So that will be the first time that I've worked on the 28 count.
Awesome.
So yeah, so that
nice
is
little challenge there.
Yeah, so that's my little challenge there. So yeah, that's all my whips at the moment, and I've got them all in their bags that they need to be in. So I've got 2 projects in each bag. And then I've got my little spring one, so that's 5 all up that I've got. And that's what I've been doing. And I am really happy with my progress this week. As I said, I've just got, basically I've just got a couple of little stitches in here and there, and I just figure progress is progress. It doesn't matter,
that's it.
You know, how much it is, a little bit or a lot, it all adds up at the end. The main one I've been focusing on is this particular one here, because that is our stitch along. And my Christmas one, well, I'm only doing that on Mondays, so that just keeps me focused on that. I know, you know, put an hour in there, an hour in here.
You know where
and
you're at.
On Mondays, it's not really hectic here on a Monday. Like, I don't have to go and pick the kids up from school because the girls walk home. Little Em's home with me on a Monday, so I don't have to go anywhere until 7 o'clock that night. So I finish work at 2:30, 3 o'clock. On a Monday, depending how busy I am. And then I've got that 4-hour window where I can sit down and do some stitching. So even if I don't get to any of my projects all week, I've got that 4-hour window on a Monday where I can spend an hour on each of my projects and then an hour before I go to bed. So I've actually scheduled that into my diary. So that way, I don't think I would have. I've got some Halloween stuff that I want to do that is going to be stitching along, and I do have a Christmas one that's a stitch along that I got from somewhere else that's coming as well. I haven't got it yet, so I don't even know what it looks like. So yeah, so I'm pretty excited about doing all those and just moving along. So yeah.
Awesome.
I have a plan. I have a plan to stitch all the things.
And she will.
And I will. But I'm enjoying it. I'm actually really loving it. I don't find it stressful at all. Whereas, You know, for me, at this point in time in my career, I've been sewing for so long and quilt making for so long. I really only do quilting and patchworking for the channel now. I don't do it in my spare time.
Yeah.
I make bags in my spare time. I do cross stitch in my spare time. I do diamond painting in my spare time.
Yeah.
I do everything but sit at the sewing machine in my spare time.
Yeah. And that's
So-
just that change.
It's just
Life,
just a gradual change that's been happening because I do so much of it.
Yep.
On that. All right, so it's haul now.
All time.
Yep. So did you get any haul this week?
Oh, I got some haul.
You did. You've been hauling in.
Well, I got my new little project bag.
I made that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I got, now my son has been watching me, wanting to help me.
Interesting.
So I'm like,
Watch
so he's
the
been
space.
marking off with the highlighter
Oh, okay.
the stitches that
Yep.
I've done.
Cool.
He loves doing that.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Oh, you got a little sidekick to help you out. That's awesome. Mine just takes the page and runs off with it. No help at all.
And he's got his own little light that he needs
Oh,
so he
okay, cool.
can
Yep.
jot it.
Cool. Awesome. He's sorted.
He
Excellent.
is sorted. He's super happy with that.
Excellent.
So we went to Big W here in Australia
Yep.
and I got him this.
So he's got his first cross stitch.
He's got his first cross stitch. Yes. So
And what is it?
it is, it's on 14 count Ada. What is it?
Oh, it's a full kit. So it comes
It's
with
a
an
full kit, yeah.
embroidery. It comes with a wooden embroidery hoop. Comes with a chart, stitching instructions, stranded floss, and needles. Thread was what I was trying to say.
Oh, I wondered what that word was.
Thread. And 14 count Ada
Yeah.
navy blue. So yeah, so it's a good
So
little
it
kit.
comes
How
with-
much was that?
$10.
Cool. That's all right.
I thought for,
Yeah.
gets him started and
Yeah.
that way he can do it once
Yep.
he gets up to that stage.
But it's not a DMC kit, is it? No.
No.
Create. They're on Instagram. They're called create_hand_made. It's made in Taiwan and it's packed by 2 green zebras here in Australia. And it's B for beginner. So yeah, you can get them. They got some cute little kits. I got a sausage dog the other day.
Yeah, the little wiener dog.
The wiener dog.
That's when we went. And
Yeah, that's
that's
what
when
I
I
said.
saw that, and
Yeah.
then I went back later on that day or something
Cool.
in the afternoon, and he was with me after school.
And
And
he wanted it. So Mama got it.
Mum was looking, and then
Yeah. Cool.
he was looking. So yeah, so I got that for him.
Awesome. And
So, yeah.
when are you going to start it with him?
I want him to do his letter D, finish that off first.
Yep. Is he started that?
Just started it,
Okay.
it's a little bit started. So,
Yep.
so we're gonna.
Yeah,
grab
so that's
that.
hand embroidery. He's just doing back stitch, running stitch or back stitch?
Running stitch.
Running stitch on that one, yeah. Yeah, because he's always interested in what we're doing here. So I printed off a letter D with a dinosaur.
Yeah, it was a dinosaur.
Yeah, and had a dinosaur on it, and his name's Dustin. So he's doing it for his room. And basically, I said just starting with running stitch. That'd be the easiest one
Yep.
to do. And yeah, that's what I started Neroli on, was running stitch
Yeah.
when she was about younger than him. Actually, she
Yeah.
was about 4
Yep.
when she started. So yeah.
Yeah,
And what else
so-
did you get?
Okay, and so we're doing our Stitchonomy
Yep, which is
sew along.
the little Stitchonomy. They've got a Halloween stitch along,
Stitch along going.
and I'll just do, that's the frame that we've got, so that's only one part of it. And
There's 2 frames we can choose
choose from, yeah, there's 2 frames we can choose from, and because we're beginners, we just thought, yep, we'll support them, get in there, buy a kit from them, and it came yesterday, the kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we both got our
So-
kits.
So this is the
fab-
Ada.
Yep.
The fabric that the kit came with.
Yep,
And what was it? It's a 14 count.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 14
Yep.
count on the list, yep.
So yeah, and it also came with all the floss.
Yep, so we got our floss. We both got the same kit, so
Yeah. And then our little card.
put our floss on.
and little beads
Yeah.
to go with it.
And we don't know what they're for because we don't know what it is. The stitch.
Yeah, we don't know the design yet.
We only know that with the frame of it. So we've got the frame to stitch out before we start stitching on the 1st of October.
1st of October, yes.
And each day in October we get a little design. Now the little design, without showing you too much of it, it is probably... It's 15 stitches by 15 stitches.
Yeah.
So it's not big.
No.
So it's a... Yeah, so basically we've got all our bits and pieces now ready to start. So that will actually be a new start for both of us in the next week or so to stitch out our frame for it.
Yes.
And so we'll show you that as we the frame goes looks like it'll go together pretty easy.
I think so.
Yeah,
Watching everyone's posts in the little group on Facebook.
It'll go pretty quick. So we should... With any luck, it'll either be next Thursday or the third. Well, it won't be for next week for me, but I'm away gallivanting around the country.
Seeing some countryside.
Anything else this week?
No, that's all this week.
Yeah, cool. Well, I got a little bit in this week, a few things that I was waiting on. The second part of the Halloween one came in, so I was pretty happy about that. That is Barbara Ann Designs. So we've got part 2's come in and part 3's on the way. Mm-hmm. I haven't actually ordered it yet, so it's definitely on the way. But I'll do that when I get back. And I have been working on diamond painting, which has Sewing Mends the Soul. And then I come across this cross stitch, and I can't remember where. I think it was from the Fat Cord Shop. This came in a couple of weeks ago, and I forgot to show you. But it's part of my haul this week. So it is Bobby G Designs, Barbara Smith. Oh, now I've got the hiccups. It is called Sewing Mends My Soul, and so it is completely different to the other one. The other one's all pink, and that is going to get hung up in my sewing room, but I'm actually going to hang this up. I've got a little room that I'm actually going to revamp, and I'm actually going to turn that into my cross-stitch room, the office. Oh, wow. So yeah, because I can put a lock on the cupboard there so the little one can't get into all my flosses and stuff like that. So I'm going to revamp that room. So yeah, I'm going to make that for that room in there.
Oh, that's
so that
nice.
Yeah, so I'm not always sitting out here in the sewing room because this is where I work. So, and then I've been shopping at Journey of a Stitcher again, and she is so awesome. Like, I cannot say enough about Nicole. It feels like I'm talking about myself in the third person. But I'm not talking about myself in the third person. Nicole lives down in Victoria. She's got a wonderful Etsy store. It's online. And I asked her a simple question because I seen one of the parts for this particular set of charts. And I asked her if she was going to get the rest in. And then I also asked her if she had the flosses as well, and she put them all together for me. So I am so thankful for her doing that. The called for colours in this, there was 2 that were unavailable, and she was having trouble getting them from the suppliers. So we went with some different colours, and I'm really happy with your colour choices there, Nicole. Thank you so much, because I know that she does watch us. Yeah, so she changed out Cherry Cobbler for Manna Red, and she changed out Black Coffee for Blackbird. So I'm pretty happy with that. And so there's the Blackbird, which is a lovely colour, and that's the Manna Red. The cherry cobbler looks to be a little bit brighter, but I'm happy with that. I actually prefer that colour over it anyway. So good choice. Yeah, so basically all the threads came with the 2 exclusions and the replacements, and the one that I got, and I'm actually going to do this as a stitch along in December. Oh. So anybody wants to join me, if you're here in Australia, these are back in stock again at the time of recording. So the one that we're actually and we're going to do one each month. Basically, this is going to be from the 1st of December, we're going to start as well. So we'll have 2 stitch-alongs starting on the 1st of December. And we're going to just do 1 a month.
Okay.
Okay, so, and basically it is called Jack Frost Tree Farm. It is by Little House Needleworks. Okay, this is the one that I'm actually not going to start with the long one. I'm actually going to start with part 2 because I just like the little car in it. so cute. And then I'm going to finish the series out. There's 7 parts to the series. And, so I'll finish it out with that. So that'll be mid-year. So I'll be finishing that at Christmas at July at our retreats. I'll be stitching that.
Cool.
So, I got all 7 parts for it. So that is my haul this week. Okay, and that one, I can't hold them all. And as I said, we're actually going to do this as a stitch along starting in December. So yeah,
that's news for me. So
yeah, she didn't know
excited.
that. She didn't know that. I have been wanting to get this for so long. Every time I see it, I'm like, I don't want to stitch that. Well, I bit the bullet and I got that. I got a few other things as well from Nicole, but I'll show you those next week because they're another series that I've got as well. I just couldn't go past them. I'm not going to do them as a stitch along. I'm just going to do them as I get them able to do them. Okay. I am actually looking at doing something a little bit different in December. More planning is going into that, so you will actually be informed as soon as we have all the information. So you can stitch along with us. You know that one.
I know that one. I've just got to try and recall
what it is. So so that is my haul this week. That's pretty much all I got. Of course, I got my chart as well and my little bundle. So that is pretty much all my haul this week. So I'm pretty excited to get a few more things in. Yep. But a few people have asked me if I've done any handwork. Would you be able to grab that for me from over there? Sure. If I've done any sort of handwork before or anything like that, and if I had any finishes or anything. I haven't done a lot of handwork, but I thought I would pull out my first ever embroidery that I did many years ago. It's all backstitch and it's just hand embroidery. It's still working with floss, so I thought it was apt to show it here. And it was one of my first pieces. So I fell in love with this. I can't even remember where I got it, whether it was a magazine or I seen it online. Okay. It was a free chart either way. I didn't pay for the chart. So basically it is my scarecrow. He's yet to be fully finished. He's been sitting around in my stitchy basket for a very long time, or he's sat up on my design wall. I have since put like a backing on it, which is just a bit of polyester wadding, and I think it's fusible as well, so it's fused down, and that's just holding all my stitches in place. But I learned a lot from this one when I done it. That's when I learnt about the jump stitches, and I don't think you can see it there along his shoulders there. You can see I've jumped from this side to this side, and it's quite long. You probably see it better on the back. Just there, you can see across the top, there's a long jump stitch. So I learnt a lot from doing that, but that's my first finish. And I'm pretty proud of him. I like him.
Cute.
Yeah, he's cute. He still has to be washed. I did learn a lot about the person that was teaching me said to use lead pencil. Well, I'm quite heavy-handed, so I've got a few marks there that have got pencil in it still, and I probably shouldn't have done it that way. But yeah, it was my first piece, and I'm pretty happy with it. He's cool.
He is.
I'm a flippy floppy scarecrow with a flippy floppy hat. Every time I look at him, that song comes to mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I thought I'd show that. I am going to go and find a frame for it and get him finished, and he'll go up in my stitchy room. I've decided that that room is going to be wholly and solely for hand sewing, because I do English paper piecing. I also do needle turn applique, and I am also doing a stitch along with the channel, but it's a block and stitch along. In January that starts, so I will definitely need somewhere to do all my stitching.
You will.
And have everything in place and not have to pull it all out and all that sort of stuff. So I figured that room is just getting thrown in with a whole heap of toys at the moment and not using for anything. So I'm going to get myself a nice little recliner. I'm going to get myself a lamp that stands on the floor, which I already floor lamp, which I already have. I'm going to get a side table to have my other lamps, and I'm going to go to IKEA and get myself one of those little trolleys and set it all up. So I'll probably do a video on that.
Set.
Yeah, and you can see it, and I might even get a second chair in there so you can come in too, Bec. You just never know where we end up.
Yeah.
You just never know where my train of thought's going to go. But that's it for us this week. Yeah. We've had a lot of stitchy time. Well, I've had a lot of stitchy time. Bec's got some in, even though she's been sick. She's going to be playing with her stitchy stuff while I'm away, so it'll be her turn next week to have all the starts and and progress and all the rest of it, and I won't have much at all. I'm actually going to be working on some sashiko and maybe a little bit of my spring one along the way. I don't know how much time I'm going to get.
No, but take it with you and
yeah, I'm going to
see what you get done.
Already told Brendan that I was taking. He said, "Really, you're going to take work?" I said, "It's not work.
No.
That's my playtime." What are you talking about work? Don't swear at me. What are you talking about work? But yeah, I'm taking along. I've pulled out an old yarn bag that I had a couple of projects in, my crochet and stuff like that. So I've pulled that out. It's small enough to take in. It won't be so offensive. So yeah, I'll be good to go on that. So that's it from us this week. You have a great week, everybody, and happy stitching. Bye for now.
Bye.